There's a truth that many men shy away from, but it's staring them down every single day like a predator waiting to pounce. Fear. It shows up in the career you hate but cling to because it's safe. It whispers in your ear when you see someone you want to speak to but convince yourself you'll embarrass yourself. It locks you into a life of routine and predictability until you're no longer living, but simply existing. But here's the thing. Fear doesn't have to be the enemy. Fear is a map, a compass pointing you toward the edge of your comfort zone where real growth begins. If you're not living at that edge, you're not living at all. You're just biding your time, stuck in a loop of what-ifs and someday maybes. And that loop, it's not life, it's slow death. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a vast canyon. On one side is everything you know, comfort, routine, safety. On the other side is potential. The man you could be, the life you could have, the relationships that could light you up from the inside out. And the only thing standing between the two? A rickety bridge made of fear. Most men never cross. They convince themselves the bridge is too dangerous, too unstable, that they're fine where they are. But here's the harsh truth. The bridge doesn't get stronger by avoiding it. You have to step onto it, plank by plank, and yes, it will shake. And yes, you might fall. But staying on the wrong side ensures you never taste the fullness of life. Let's get specific. What does fear look like in your life right now? Is it the job you hate but won't leave because you're scared of starting over? Is it the relationship where you feel suffocated but can't end because the thought of being alone terrifies you? Or is it the creative project you keep postponing because deep down you're afraid it might fail? Fear is not the problem. The problem is pretending it isn't there. When you ignore it, it becomes a jailer, locking you into a life of mediocrity. But when you acknowledge it, when you name it, face it, and walk toward it, it becomes a teacher. It shows you where you need to grow, where you need to stretch, where you need to fight. Let me paint you a worst-case scenario. You're 60 years old, sitting alone in a quiet house. The walls are covered with pictures of the life you thought you were supposed to live. The job that paid the bills but drained your soul. The relationships that looked good on the outside but left you hollow inside. And as you sit there, you realize something gut-wrenching. You played it safe. You let fear win. And now it's too late. Does that sound dramatic? Good. Because it's real. Every decision you make from a place of fear is a brick in the wall that separates you from your true self. And one day you'll look up and realize that wall has no door. So how do you avoid that fate? How do you step off the conveyor belt of complacency and start living a life that feels alive? The answer is deceptively simple. Live at your edge. Your edge is the place where fear meets desire. It's the uncomfortable conversation you've been avoiding. It's the risk you've been too scared to take. It's the dream you've been too afraid to chase. Living at your edge doesn't mean diving headfirst into chaos. It means inching closer to the things that scare you and refusing to back down. Let's start with your career. Are you in a job that challenges you, excites you, pushes you to grow, or are you coasting, collecting a paycheck while your soul quietly dies? Fear will tell you to stay put, to keep your head down, to avoid rocking the boat. But living at your edge means asking yourself the hard questions. Is this what I want? Or is this just what's easy? If the answer scares you, good. That's your edge. Start small. Update your resume. Apply for a job that feels out of your league. Start a side hustle that lights you up. Each step forward is a step closer to the man you're meant to be. Now let's talk about relationships. Whether it's with a partner, a friend, or a family member, fear has a sneaky way of creeping in and dictating your actions. Maybe you're afraid to express how you really feel because you don't want to rock the boat. Maybe you're afraid to end a relationship because the unknown feels scarier than staying in something unfulfilling. Living at your edge means being honest, even when it's uncomfortable. It means saying the thing you've been holding back. It means risking rejection to stay true to yourself. It means choosing authenticity over approval every single time. But the most important edge is the one within yourself. This is where fear gets personal. It's the voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not brave enough. It's the critic that keeps you small and quiet and safe. Here's the truth. That voice will never go away, but you don't have to listen to it. Living at your edge means recognizing the voice for what it is, fear, and moving forward anyway. It means showing up, even when you feel unprepared. It means taking the leap even when you're terrified. It means trusting that you are capable of more than you think. If this all feels overwhelming, start small. For the next 3 days, commit to doing one thing each day that scares you. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting. Maybe it's starting that project you've been putting off. Maybe it's saying no to something that doesn't serve you. Whatever it is, do it. And then do it again the next day, and the day after that. This isn't about conquering fear. It's about befriending it. It's about learning to live with it, to use it as fuel, to let it guide you to the places where you need to grow. Let me leave you with this. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. If you spend your life avoiding discomfort, you'll never know what you're capable of. You'll never push your limits. You'll never experience the thrill of living fully, of stepping into the unknown and coming out stronger on the other side. So ask yourself, what's the cost of staying comfortable? What's the price of playing it safe? And is that a price you're willing to pay? Fear isn't going anywhere. It will always be there, lurking at the edges of your dreams, whispering in your ear, trying to keep you small. But you have a choice. You can let it control you, or you can use it to find your edge, to push yourself, to grow. The freedom you're searching for, it's on the other side of fear. It's waiting for you at your edge. All you have to do is take the first step.